Hello there and welcome to the Barely Banter podcast, episode 18. Come of age. I would say that this is a special episode, but all of them are special, let's be honest.
They all feel special.
This one is different because I'm afraid it's just the two of us. Scott is no longer here. He's not dead, he's just dead to me, so...
He was always dead to you, that's not news.
He, like many of us, myself included, sat at home in quarantine, fighting the urge to turn themselves into an alcoholic just to pass the time.
Would be something to do. We really are scratching. Hence why we're here.
I'm Barely Breathing Reviews, and I am drinking Sea Fury Special Ale. It doesn't taste special, it tastes very generic.
It taste like sea?
It tastes like fury. Introduce yourself, I can't be asked.
I'm also here. The only reason why we've managed to do this one together is because we're the same household. So anything that I get, you can have too. I also have hooch. You can also get that from your local supermarkets if you want to queue for several hours to get in. I wish I bought more of these. I only bought one.
That won't last.
No, I know. But I am drinking my favourite. I'm drinking hooch. I'm very happy about it. Happy to be here.
I don't believe you. Scott is here in spirit because he did actually post a question on the Facebook page last night. Okay, so Scott asks, how do you feel the COVID-19 will affect the film industry in the long run, especially with the films they would be filming now?
I can answer that in part right now. So many of you watch The Walking Dead. Many of you will have seen the latest episode where Michonne, Danaya Gurira, left the show. She's still alive. No need to panic. She plays Michonne, who is the fucking sword-wielding badass chick. We like her. I think she's done really well. And she's gone off to find Rick, who was taken ages ago. If you're not a Walking Dead fan, feel free to skip ahead. Either way, she did well. We're proud of the work she's done. She will be sadly missed. Additionally, Alpha, Samantha Morton, also dead. Negan's crisscross applesauce. We later find out he was working for Carol, and he just chopped the head off of Alpha. Just right on offer. But Samantha Morton did a really, really fucking good job playing her. But that's not what I'm trying to talk about. What I'm here to tell you about with Walking Dead is that the finale of season 10 has been delayed because of Corona. So
I read about this.
Yeah, they hadn't finished the episode before the pandemic prevented them from completing it. So the current season will end with its 15th episode on the 5th of April. So it's like next week's episode, the week after that. The planned finale will appear as a special episode later on in the year. It was originally scheduled for the 12th, so literally the week later when it was supposed to air. Which is sad, so we kind of get a semi-finished sort of season. I mean, it's exciting that we get to see something later on in the year.
But you want it now.
We want it now, yeah. Additionally, there's a Rick Grimes movie. He was the former protagonist of said show, played by Andrew Lincoln, you know, the guy from Love Actually?
I do.
Holding the signs and shit?
Yeah.
He does a good job. Yeah, he's going to be playing Rick still, so that's good news. Potentially, Danaya might star in that movie now that she's not tied to the franchise.
Okay.
The series rather than the franchise. So, you know, potential exciting things to happen there, but cock-blocked by Corona.
There are a great many things that have been cock-blocked by Corona. Many release dates have been delayed, there have been changes, extensive list, but I only noted down the ones that I give a fuck about.
Fair.
A Quiet Place 2, which I actually had fucking tickets booked to.
What's it about?
Okay, the first one was that film with John Krasinski, and who directed it as well as starred in. You may know him as Jim from The Office.
Right.
Basically, world is overrun by these kind of creatures that hunt by sound.
Okay, interesting.
The first film focuses on this family who have learnt to speak in sign language and stuff like that. It's basically them trying to survive the current situation.
Gotcha.
And this is the sequel.
Sequel.
It seems, judging by the trailers only, it seems to have expanded from the family. It focuses more on the general public as well. Much like the Purge series did, where the first one focused on this one family in their house. And the second one was more about what was going on in the streets. And they did they were restricted to the house because budget reasons, and everyone was like, no, we want to see all the craziness in the streets. And that's what they did for the sequel. So that was originally in March of this year. Unknown new release date. Black Widow was meant to be out on May the 1st. New release date is yet to be decided. Mulan was meant to be out on the 27th of March.
Going back to Black Widow, that's the one with Scarlett Johansson.
Yes.
That poor fuck. I really do feel bad for her. Casual coughing fit, not corona related, it does predate. The... Hang on 1 second. Scarlett Johansson has put more screen time into that franchise than any other woman, and I feel like she is so late to getting her own standalone film. It's almost insulting. I know it's being delayed even further, the poor bitch.
I think that Scarlett Johansson did deserve the accolade as first ever female-fronted superhero movie. Yes, going back to it. Mulan was meant to be released on March the 27th.
That's I'm sad about. You know they've released a Lady and the Tramp poster. They're going to do it.
I did see the poster just before recording this.
Yeah, same. Mulan. One of my favourite Disney films of all time. I think it's my third favourite. Close third, but made it to fourth, is Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. What a great Disney film. Do you remember this one? The fox was
No, Prince
Robin
of Thieves
Hood.
was the Kevin Costner one.
It was just Robin Hood. Yeah. Just Robin Hood.
That was a good one.
It was a great
Really good
film. Loved that fox. It's really well animated as well.
The one outlining memory for me from that film was when I think he was in a tree and he shot a bow and arrow into the side of the castle and just pulled himself along into the turrets or whatever it was. I was like, wow.
Even in your childlike mind, you knew that was beyond
Bullshit.
logic. Yeah.
Saw was meant to be out on May the 8th but hasn't been given a new release date.
I can't believe they're still making those films.
It exists in the same universe as the previous 8 movies, but it's not a reboot and it's not a direct sequel, but it's happening at the same time, but they're going to try and probably do a little bit of a crossover here and there. It's got Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson in it.
Well, that gives me more hope.
I enjoy both of those people.
Yeah, they are both fun.
I'm not going to make any effort to go and see it when it's at the cinema, but if it's on Netflix or whatever, I'll probably give it a bash.
Out of all the things that Samuel L. Jackson has done, my favourite thing that he has ever done is still Deep Blue Sea.
The man was in Pulp Fiction.
I know, but there's something about Deep Blue Sea and its shittiness and how it kind of harks back to childhood, doesn't it? Do you remember watching that film? Just a shitload. And the little parrot thing. And
Wasn't it LL Cool J in that as well?
He
was awesome.
Yes, the chef.
Wonder Woman 1984 was meant to be released on my fucking birthday, and now it's delayed till August 14th.
That's a shame. I was wondering when that was going to get a sequel.
Yeah, this one's set in 1984, and then the next one is going to be set in present day.
Okay. Okay, so we might see Wonder Woman in fucking discotheque.
Yeah.
Fucking Saturday Night Fever type get-up. Oh, I hope she's wearing leg warmers. If there's not a scene with her on roller skates, I'm going to be really upset.
She wears many outfits in the trailer.
Good!
First film that I saw to be announced to be delayed was No Time to Die, which was meant to be...
Bond film.
Yes, meant to be out on April the 10th, and it's now been pushed back to November the 25th.
The 25th anniversary of all the Bond films, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I'm so angry about... Not about Bond or the films, but about the fucking song. Bond songs are notoriously very good, in my humble opinion. I really enjoy a Bond song. Like, Sam Smith did a pretty good job. Some people think that he didn't, but I felt like it was fitting for the film. Who else did we have? We had Tina Turner, fucking Shirley Bassey did one, didn't she? Fucking, they're all massive soul...
We had Chris Cornell's one was quite good, the one he did for Casino Royale. I thought it was alright.
Yeah, to be fair, not bad. Not bad, did a good job.
I would like Hannah Cartwright to do one.
Anyone other than fucking Billie Eilish. Anyone. I genuinely have a conspiracy theory that she's a media plant and that she's literally been used to make the big conglomerates like masses of money.
She wasn't given birth to, she was just forged by the industry.
Yes, like in that fucking episode of Paradise PD when Disney were just making creations out of the little pool of
the primordial soup it looked like.
That's it, yeah, that's fucking where Billie Eilish came from. Ugh. No, I don't think it's her as a person. I think she's just kind of being swept up along with this whole ride of fame and glory and money, and I'm worried for her. Genuinely, like, I reckon she'll join the 27 Club. There'll be something that happens. Because as well, like, when Kobe died, R.I.P., on the newsfeed article about it, it was all about how it happened and things like that. And then there was a quote from Billie Eilish's Insta account about her, you know, thoughts and prayers, sympathy kind of a thing. I was like, out of everybody, why her?
Yeah.
Like, she has nothing to do with the world of basketball. No, maybe like a family member.
Or sport.
Sport, any kind of sports person or somebody from his team, anyone. Any of their comments. No? We'll have Billie Eilish and her thoughts and opinions about it. Fucking white's exposure. Because the people who are in charge of what we see have decided that she's going to make them loads of money, so they're going to spaff out a bunch of her. You know what I mean? That's
absolutely that.
Very that. Sorry, I'm going to stop my Billie Eilish rant.
I got nothing else to do. There are many, many pieces of medium that are suffering from production delays. Again, I haven't listed all of them, but these are the ones I sort of care about, I guess. Avatar 2, 3, 4 and 5, which were meant to be released in 2021.
Hang on, Avatar is in the blue people?
Yeah.
2, 3, 4 and 5?
They're filming them all continuously. 2's done.
Shit.
Yeah, they were meant to be released in 2021, 2023, 25 and 27 respectively. They've been delayed. The Batman movie is suffering delays, but they're sticking to their June 25th release date next year. The new Jurassic World movie is still sticking to June 11th, 2021.
There's too many Jurassic Park films now.
I agree.
I watched the first one the other day and it still stood the test of time.
Oh, it's in my top 10. The Lord of the Rings TV series, despite delays, is still sticking to 2021 release. I don't think that's going to happen.
What? Sorry, I zoned out for a second.
The Lord of the Rings TV series.
Oh, yeah, that's been a long time coming.
The Matrix 4.
Oh my god, why?
It's still got Keanu Reeves, Carrie-Anne Moss and Jada Pinkett Smith in it. May 21st, 2021 still. And the same day, and they've done this on purpose, obviously, John Wick 4's out that day as well.
Ooh,
very Keanu day.
Very Keanu.
My dick is going to be raw after all that. Neil Patrick Harris is also in The Matrix 4. So
is he?
I'm looking to see where he fits in.
I bet he'll play a villain.
Oh, I hope so. He'd be awesome as a villain.
He'd be a great villain.
Stranger Things and The Witcher TV series
Don't
are
care
also
about Stranger
suffering
Things.
delays, and their release date is yet to be announced. I thought you liked Stranger Things.
I saw...
You were hyped for it on this podcast at one point, actually.
Yeah, would have been a long while ago, because my first exposure to Stranger Things was an interview on some daytime chat show. You can tell I was having a particularly enthralling, exciting day on that day.
For growth.
But yeah, absolutely personal growth, definitely not just clickbait. And managed to find myself on this interview. They were all just really annoying, just annoying children. Really obnoxious, dickhead children. I can't explain it.
Did you find it hard to separate the character from the actor?
Well, after I'd seen it, it had ruined it for me because I found them so irritating while they were on this programme that I was like, I can't bear to look at you any longer than I absolutely have to. And it ruined it for me. I haven't seen a single episode, which is a shame because I'm told it's very good.
It is a shame because I included it for you on the bit of paper.
Aww.
I know. I've never seen an episode in my life.
Me neither. But it's very popular. It's very popular. It's probably good, and I may eventually get round to giving it a watch. But it's like, you know, when you binge on some kind of alcohol and it makes you really ill and you have the worst hangover and then you can't touch that alcohol for like 10, 15 years.
For me, it was the blue aftershock, and the smell of it still makes me feel like I'm going to retch. And that was way back in 2007. It was New Year's. I remember it perfectly. Haven't touched it since. And Jameson, is also another one where I overdid it and just can't touch it since.
One that I ruined for myself was Archer's, you know, peach schnapps.
Of course.
Love me some peach schnapps. Like, it's a really 80s drink, isn't it? Schnapps,
yes.
Really 80s. I loved it. Wrecked it for myself, but I can finally now drink it again. Maybe that would be my Stranger Things.
You should drink Archer's during your first viewing of Stranger Things.
Well, I've got myself back onto Archer's. Maybe something else that I've ruined, like whiskey. I've ruined whiskey so hard.
I wouldn't know what to do with myself if I couldn't drink whiskey or bourbon anymore. There'd be literally no point to my existence. Of course, the coronavirus isn't just affecting the film and television industry. sporting events are taking a massive hit. The weirdest one for me has been the wrestling.
A-dub. I'm even wearing a t-shirt right now.
WrestleMania is being performed in an empty stadium.
It's 33, isn't it?
36.
36?
No, sorry, it's not in an empty stadium. It's their performance centre, where they train, basically.
Okay.
To get into the head of the wrestlers, their, like, WrestleMania moment, first time, imagine if Drew McIntyre's headlining, I think, with Brock Lesnar. He won the Royal Rumble. He's going to win the title. He gets that moment in front of no one. And when we watched AEW last week, I personally thought that the quality of it was compromised. There was more botches because I think there was less pressure on the wrestlers. The whole thing felt more flat when there was no audience. And to get into their head, I imagine it felt more like a job, as no one was there to like spur them on and stuff like that. And you know as much as I do that rehearsal, we've both performed in front of live audiences in some platform or another. Mm-hmm. Rehearsing is a very different feeling to a gig.
Yeah.
Like, even though you're doing the same material that you've been rehearsing for ages, performing it live in front of an audience, it's such a buzz. And obviously I think because of that, the quality of the matches themselves and the whole experience overall for them and the audience is just better.
Yeah, because you need that feedback from the audience.
Yeah, the whole "this is awesome" chant, holy shit, whatever.
And just being able to look around and see all the people.
All the smiles and all that shit.
And people cheering and just getting fucked up and having a good time.
Mm. However, you can hear the chops and knocks a hell of a lot more clearly.
Oh, yes, you can.
It's absolutely beautiful.
The chat that we can hear between the wrestlers particularly is my particular favourite.
Don't get me wrong, I admire them immensely for doing it. Still.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that they are.
I think WrestleMania should be delayed because it's WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And as well, the UFC fights are happening without a crowd.
Khabib Ferguson?
The Khabib Ferguson, as far as it is going to be happening in front of an empty crowd if it happens. 5th time's the charm. I personally, if I was Dana White, would delay it so there's... because it's going to be much better in front of a crowd. The fight will be better for a kickoff. The vibe will be much better. He won't lose all the money on the gate. And he'll get the pay-per-view buys anyway because it's Khabib versus Ferguson.
That is going to be insane.
I personally have Ferguson.
Should they even fight? I mean, 5 delays. What was it? It was like injuries.
He fell over. Tony fell over a wire and messed his knee up and had to have surgery. Khabib had a dangerous weight cut, tried to lose too much at once and ended up hospitalised. Several other reasons, I can't remember them off the top of my head.
Ridiculous reasons.
It's cursed.
Plus a pandemic, and that's not enough for them to be like, you know what, the stars haven't aligned, let's listen to the stars. You've got Ferguson.
Oh god, yeah.
Alright, just for sporting bravado, I'm going to go for Khabib.
Fair enough.
We'll put a crate on it.
I would, yeah, cool, no worries. I will shake your hand. We're shaking hands. It's official.
I actually think Ferguson's going to win, but...
In the current climate of the world now, it does suit Ferguson because Khabib likes to train in front with 20 or 30 guys, and that amount of people is illegal at the minute to be around.
Yes, yeah.
Whereas Ferguson takes 2 or 3 dudes and they just train in the middle of fucking nowhere in Big Bear Mountain in California.
Apparently some of the difficulties that they're facing in terms of production, Dana is saying that physically difficult to get a crew of 30 to be able to film it and do it safely. And then they cut it from 30 to 10 and they were like, that's fucking impossible. So they're having to do a whole rethink of what the fuck to do to be able to make it happen. The thing is, out of all of this shit, it's been interesting to see how people are coping with it, like TV programs and shit, in that everything's going online, streaming, like drag, for example. What they've decided to do is do shows online and stream it to people, and you can like donate money and stuff. You don't have to pay it. What I'm trying to say is that it's just been interesting to see how people cope.
Several bands have done that. They've just done a live recording session and streamed it online. I'm like, again, like it would feel like a rehearsal to me.
It's going to be very interesting to see what kind
different.
of stuff comes out of this.
I think there's going to be a lot of funny, creative, homemade videos that are going to go up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
In other news, I have some positives amongst the sadness and gloom that we've been faced with.
Well, thank God this isn't a pregnancy test.
There is going to be a new animated series called Solar Opposites, playing on that polar opposites thing. Solar also comes into play with it, by Justin Roiland of Rick and Morty writing fame. He has co-created I think on Hulu. Yeah, it's America ITV, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
So it'll be on ITV, probably. We'll check.
That's where Rick and Morty is. So.
Well, it makes sense that it would be. It's going to be 8 episodes. All 8 episodes are going to be released on May the 8th. So it's made, it's ready to go, it's being released.
Beautiful.
They've already got a season 2 in the pipeline. It's already been ordered, so it must be good. It follows a team of 4 aliens in the middle of suburban America. They decide to settle there because they have to protect the pupa. So it's like this little wormy thing.
Okay.
Sure. A living this pupa thing is like some kind of supercomputer that will one day evolve into its true form. We'll see what happens there. Teaser trailer has been released. Looks very similar to Rick and Morty animation-wise. There's even a guy called Terry in it.
I smell a crossover.
Yeah, you could probably put pictures of the cast next to each other and be like, oh, that one's the Rick, that one's the... You know what I mean? In the same way that you can across, like WWE and AEW, be like, oh, you can see parallels. You know what I mean? Like Pac, the Bastard Pac and Seth Rollins are basically the same character.
Joey Janela has no parallel.
Well, neither does Freshly Squeezed. I'm seeing a lot of top 10 things to watch while in isolation and all this shit.
It's what a lot of other YouTube creators are doing. Like a lot of the film reviewers that I follow are like, well, all of our cinemas are closed, obviously, so we're going to do...
Suggestions.
Yeah, here's some suggestions on what you can binge over the next coming whatever amount of time.
And we've done the same. Because there's not really anything else to chat about, is there? Shit that's been cancelled and what you can watch instead is kind of the theme. Well, we have not done a top 10 because, you know, that's long.
Because that's exhausting.
Yeah, we can't count that far either. So we've gone for a top 3 things that are new that you'd recommend, plus one classic quarantine, rainy day, Sunday film that you would just watch. And we have decided we did give it a sick name. You came up with this, in fairness. Would you like to say it?
No, I want to hear it and be in awe of my accomplishment.
Retromendation for isolation. It even rhymes.
It does. I should have a sign of that and just nail it above my... I was going to say bed, but no.
I was going to say dick.
There's enough wood down there.
I'm not drinking to that. So, without further ado, one of my top 3 new things that I recommend. I literally have seen 1 episode of this.
Thank you.
And I'm already hooked. It is a docu-series called Tiger King. It's already got everything you need. Well, it follows this guy called Joe Exotic. I don't believe that's his
Love
real
the name.
He's this zoo owner.
What a christening that would be.
Yeah. He's a zoo owner that owns a bunch of big cats, like tigers, lions, bears, oh my. Bears also feature, although not a cat. With a bunch of eccentric characters in this, like, true murder for hire type story in the underworld of big cat breeding. This guy went to prison for trying to hire somebody to murder this woman who was like very strong animal rights activist, but also owned a big cat sanctuary, which was a bit confusing because she was also making money off of them in the same way that Mr. Exotic was, but somehow has beef. So he was like, I'm a murderer.
Because narrative has beef.
Because reasons. The thing is, it's true. This is a true story. It's not like...
Oh, fuck off, is it?
It's not been written. This just follows people. It's fantastic. I really recommend it. And you also get to see some big tigers and stuff, which is fun.
That is always fun.
Yeah. I would recommend that. I mean,
why?
crazy fucks that breed big ass cats. Why not? And he like cuddles them and shit. Oh. Yeah, like the big ones and everything, and they're there with their massive teeth, and he just doesn't seem to give a fuck.
Mr. Exotic doesn't give a fuck.
No, Mr. Exotic gives no fucks. He's got a mullet, and it's like he's got a crystal tip mullet, like in that he's bleached the mullet bit and has kept the sides the same.
That's atrocious.
Oh, it's phenomenal. I really do think that mullets are making a comeback. I might get one.
I've seen a fair few out, actually. My first recommendation is Better Call Saul Season 5.
If you haven't seen Season 1 to 4, Start now. I mean, now's the time that you can.
Yeah. I genuinely think it's the best thing on Netflix right now. The series as a whole is the perfect sequel, and in some people's eyes, better than Breaking Bad. Do I agree with that? It's hard to say, as I was one of those people that needed a season to get into it.
Into Breaking Bad.
Yes. But with Better Call Saul, I was immediately on board. Now, I don't know if that was because Breaking Bad had already set the tone, making Better Call Saul more digestible initially. I would love to know what watching it all in chronological order would be like. Yeah, the impact of certain characters and their story in Saul wouldn't be as powerful if you watched it first, and the flash forwards would probably be confusing at times, I guess. But my god, the transition from one series to another would be amazing. Like the protagonist in the former becomes a secondary in the latter, but there would be a completely new set of narratives, and fuck, the climax at the end would be like sexually draining, to be honest. Anyway, yeah, Season 5 pretty much picks up where Season 4 left us. Each episode is multi-narrative like all of its predecessors, and you actually give a fuck about each one because good writing and good acting. It's really compelling, it's immersive, and nails whatever atmosphere it's aiming for. As I said, I saw Breaking Bad first, and the benefits of that are it ties so much more depth to the character you've met before when you watch Better Call Saul. And their presence is very much brought over from Breaking Bad. If anything, it's amplified because you know what they're capable of and what's going to happen to them.
Okay, because this is going to be my question about this, because I'm 2 seasons behind.
Okay.
I haven't met Walter in Better Call Saul yet.
Would you like a spoiler? Yes or no?
Yes, absolutely. I love a spoiler.
We haven't met him yet.
Oh, I thought that's what you were talking about.
No, there's other characters from Breaking Bad in Better Call Saul. But we're on Season 5, and Season 6 is coming next. I don't know when, but that's the last season. Then we're all caught up.
It seems to be that people are finishing on Season 6. Like, that seems to be, like, the number.
Yeah.
Because Orange is the New Black did the same thing. Which I have finally seen the last season of, by the way. Very good.
It's also fun to experience all the other characters' origin story, and the series as a whole is beautifully incorporated into the chronology of everything. So yeah, massive recommendation for Better Call Saul.
Yeah, I am 2 seasons behind, but I am excited to see it. Better Call Saul is one of those for me that is on my list and it's on my radar, but I'm always really late to it because I seem to watch other shit first.
Yeah.
Like before it, and but now's the perfect time, so I'm going to be boshing those out
Soon
as I've rinsed Tiger King.
That your Better Call Saul is my Vikings.
Fair, yes, love me some Vikings.
Yes.
My second suggestion, which I've started watching very recently, I think it came onto Netflix just this week, is 100 Humans, which sounds shit.
You keep recommending it to me.
Do I?
Yes.
I'm obviously talking about it a lot. Isn't that the sign of a good programme that you're watching, that you're kind of just talking about it a lot?
And now is the time to do it.
Yeah, now
watch
it's time to tell
you
you.
Don't need to.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, all that shit that you wouldn't normally watch because, you know, who has the time? Well, everyone does now. Basically, it's these 3 scientists, I say that loosely, / presenters.
They're doctors in the same way that Dr. Pepper is a doctor.
So misunderstood. So 100 people from diverse backgrounds participate in experiments exploring age, sex, happiness, and other aspects of being human. And it kind of talks about how it's very fun in the way that they do it, and very clever in the way that they put people in these test scenarios and what things come out of it. And then they compare what they found to the general consensus, and then some literature that goes around it and that kind of thing. Sometimes they have experts in certain fields come on and stuff. This really ties into my nerdy side. I really enjoy shit like this because I love a graph, and there is a lot of graphs, lots of bar charts, and I really enjoy those things. There's like some comic relief there. You don't really have to pay too much attention. It's just interesting. People are interesting, aren't they? Yeah, 100 Humans would recommend. What's your second one?
My second one is Paradise PD.
Fuck yes! I would also recommend this. And I didn't put it on my list because I knew that you would.
Yes, yeah, oh my god. It's an animated comedy for adults, for those of you who haven't been exposed to it yet. We are currently on part 2, which was released a couple of weeks ago.
It's just season 2, isn't it?
It's called part 2.
It's called part 2, but it's just season 2.
Yeah, it was released all in one go, so it's very bingey. I'm recommending it because if you were as pissed off as I was when Brickleberry got the axe, Paradise PD is the perfect replacement for you. It's basically the same writers and voice actors creating an extremely similar setup to Brickleberry in both setting and characters. And that's okay because there was nothing wrong with their formula to begin with. The animations themselves aren't as polished as, say, your Rick and Morty, BoJack Horseman or Archer, but the crudeness of the visuals complements the humour, which is really fucking crude, blunt, and lacking elegance or subtlety. I very much love it. You don't need to have seen all 3 seasons of Brickleberry to get Paradise PD.
I can vouch for that. I haven't seen any Brickleberry and I really enjoy Paradise PD.
But episode 9 will make more sense as they do a crossover episode with its predecessor, and I really can't fucking wait for that. It's the reason I am trying to plough through it at the minute. I'm currently on episode 4.
I'm really enjoying the character development that they're putting through at the moment as well.
Fitz, especially.
Fitz is having a fit.
Whoever did the voice for Fitz, my god, I want him to lick me. Fucking awesome.
Yes, my third suggestion, although it has been out for a while, it's only just come to Netflix, so you've only just been able to get it for free. Otherwise, you'd have had to got it through YouTube or Google Play.
Sounds disgusting.
Exactly, right? Because it's on Wow Presents, which is YouTube. It came out on the 27th. So, Trixie Mattel's Moving Parts. Now, this is like a documentary film. It's like an intimate portrait of Drag Race alumnus Trixie Mattel, aka Brian Furcus.
My favourite type of Furcus. You know damn well I don't know who he is.
Honestly, one of my absolute favourite drag queens. Phenomenal. It sheds light on Trixie's personal relationship with the art of drag and its various professional endeavours. She was going to call herself Cupcake. I'm really glad that she didn't. Anyway, you'll find all these things out, as will I, because I haven't seen EXPLICIT, so I'm going to buy it off of YouTube.
No.
I'm always going to wait for it to come out for free on Netflix. So, yeah, I would highly recommend it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be... You might even shed a tear. You don't know. You might. I would also recommend Wow Presents just as a YouTube platform too. If you're into drag queens and that whole scene, they do a lot of content, drag-related content.
Does Mr. Exotic tie in with any of this?
Potentially. Mr. Exotic, I think he's gay. I think he tried to get married to 2 blokes at some point.
Oh.
Honestly, watch even just the trailer, you learn so much.
I've got to.
Legit, they're standing there in like pink cowboy outfits. It's precious.
What are the odds or chances of getting Mr. Exotic on this podcast?
I think we should reach out.
It would have to be done through like Skype or something, but who gives a shit? We can make the effort.
He might bring a tiger.
Couldn't even bother trying to get Scott on through Skype. But Mr. Exotic, I am well up for that.
I want more content from Mr. Exotic. He does a program. Well, he did until he was imprisoned. Maybe we could Skype him from.
Before he was in.
Yes.
This narrative is so deep.
It really evolves. I can't
He's
remember.
in prison.
So he might not be available for Skyping.
Oh my god.
What's your third one?
Oh, I am going to recommend The Gentleman. And that includes you, honestly.
Does it?
Yeah. It came out on January 1st, 2020. To this day, the best film I have seen this year. Comfortably, actually. I'm not going to go into full review mode as it's currently looking at my podium. Guy Ritchie very much returns to form in the genre he is best known for. The English Tarantino, as he's known as, is back. The Gentleman is a pure British gangster film that makes no excuses for what it is. It's gritty as fuck, it's well acted across the board. It plays host to the best performance of Hugh Grant's career. I actually fucking enjoyed him in this, which is a first for me ever.
Hugh Grant's in it?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
There's dialogue made from diamonds scattered everywhere, man. Its ridiculousness as a whole shouldn't be judged or questioned, it should be embraced. I dare you not to laugh or be immersed in it, I really do. The pacing is solid. Its structure flirts with non-linear narrative but doesn't fuck up the fluidity. I'm a fan of Guy Ritchie's previous work, and this is very much Guy Ritchie. Like, Snatch, Lock, Stock, The Gentleman, all 3 of them very much remind me of Pulp Fiction, and my favourite film of all time is Pulp Fiction, and I can't honestly give anything else higher praise than that. Yeah,
I was going to ask how it compares to them. You say it kind of goes alongside. Not like a poor man's version.
No, not
very
at all.
much sits alongside with.
I would argue it's my favourite of them all.
Ooh, I'm definitely going to have to give it a watch then, because I was very, very late to Snatch. Lock, Stock I watched, I think when it came out, but Snatch I was very late to, because I really enjoyed Lock, Stock so much.
Yeah.
I was like, surely there can't be another film like this that is as good, and then I eventually watched Snatch like 7-8 years after it was released.
I could easily convince you to watch The Gentleman. It's where the phrase "don't be canty" came from.
Sold.
Good.
Done. Which brings us to our retromendation for Isolation, that classic retro film that you absolutely love, that you cannot stop watching every time that there is a rainy day or a casual pandemic.
One of those ones you watch on TV and suffer through the adverts, even though you've got it on Blu-ray.
Yeah, why do we do that? My recommendation would be, I was really stuck between two, and I thought I would have landed on one by now, but I absolutely haven't. I'm going to go, well, one is more specific, so I'm going to go more generic. My favourite film of all time, 1998's Coen Brothers, absolute fucking golden child, The Big Lebowski.
It's a solid choice.
I can't resist it. It's got so much beauty in every way. Jeff Bridges, John Goodman, Steve Buscemi, Julianne Moore.
Sam Elliott.
It's brilliant. I would always recommend it. What is yours?
Okay, I confess, like, coming up with the name Retromendation exhausted me.
And you gave up from there.
Last night. I was, like, doing fuckloads of animations, notes for this, writing for something else, kind of zoned out for a bit. I've kind of, like, wrote a list of stuff that I want to watch for myself. Experience from just to go. It's something that I wish to go back to, because I really think that you should probably, like, watch what you perceive as your retromendation to yourself.
Blade Runner is mine. I've seen the first 20 minutes, thought it was really good, got distracted by something or had to go somewhere, and then never came back to it. And I was like, I'll watch it.
I've already inspired one person.
There you go.
And I haven't given my list yet.
You do the same thing. Those movies that you've half watched or seen bits of and thought, that's alright.
Yeah.
Watch them now.
Or that one thumbnail on your recommendations that you've never clicked on and always been curious about. Like, one of those ones. For me personally, I really wanted to do, like, the one marathon to rule them all, which is all of the Hobbits and Lord of the Rings. I haven't seen Pulp Fiction since I watched it at the cinema for its 20-year anniversary. We talked for a while about Journey being released on PC on our podcast. It's been released on it for a while. I've got it installed. I still haven't played it yet.
That's the point. We haven't done any gaming this... Oh, yeah. That's because it's Scott's thing.
Scott's thing is gaming, yeah.
Oh.
And I also want to play Lord of the Rings online for a bit.
Well, I can't believe I was toying with two and was giving myself a hard time about having to pick one. So now I'm just going to tell you my other one. But was more specific because it's a stoner film. It's Mac and Devon Goes to High School, 2012. Wiz Khalifa, Snoop Doggy Dogg, which has been cancelled because of this bullshit. I was meant to see him in April. I would highly recommend that film. I could happily watch that film over and over again.
Pineapple Express is another one. I've watched the first third of that a lot, but passed out due to unrelated circumstances. And that's it. Like, the first third, I can pretty much, narrate the script for you. But after that, fuck knows.
There you go. Now you should watch it during quarantine. The exact same thing will happen.
Yeah.
You'll see the first third and pass out. Yeah, so those are the things that we recommend. Tiger King, 100 Humans, Trixie Mattel, Big Lebowski, Mac and Devon Go to High School. Done.
All of those things. And the things that I said as well.
And that brings us beautifully to...
Dickhead of the Week. It's Scott for not being here. Right, go and end the podcast right now.
Oh my god, we could.
Oh, should we? No.
He's already on the list.
I told you he's on the list. He's right there. That's his name.
Okay, so we can't put Scott on the list twice, so we'll have
to
stick with the original. I did have Billie Eilish's name on there, but I did cross it out.
Okay, right. Let's do a off the record Dickhead of the Week.
Okay.
He says as grabbing a pen. Where would Billie Eilish go?
Because it's not technically her fault, but it is what she represents.
Okay.
I feel like the human element has to drop it down. And although although I feel very strongly about this, she's not the only person that is the victim of greed and conglomerates ruling the world. That's not technically her fault. So I was going to go kind of halfway, possibly super throbbing erect dick, along with the Oxford English Dictionary for putting an emoji as the word of the year. Still pissed about that.
Okay, Billie Eilish, I welcome you unofficially to the...
Well, I have to interrupt you there because I crossed her out.
Ah.
I know, and I chose against her and decided on coronavirus instead. Because despite how strongly I feel about Billie Eilish in that whole situation...
But it's given us so much free time.
Maybe this whole coronavirus bullshit is because of the conglomerates wanting us to buy Disney Plus because there's nothing else to keep the kids entertained for. But the underlying theme here is Corona. So that's the one that's got to go in.
Okay, so where is this going for you? Bearing in mind how, forget all of the programmes and films that have been delayed and sporting events, the way it's affecting that. You personally, because this is a personal thing, the Dickhead of the Week usually.
Yeah.
Sometimes, often not, but whatever.
Well, yeah, it's for cock blocking so much shit that we want to do and watch. However, with all these creative people having so much time on their hands, I'm actually kind of excited to see what comes out as a result of Corona.
It cancelled Eurovision, Claire.
It did.
And Download.
Download been cancelled.
And other festivals
Other things that we like, which we're pissed about, but we're all in the same boat, aren't we? I'm kind of excited to see what things come out of it, because there's so many people with so much time to create and make and think of shit, and so we'll see. There might be positives that come out of this in terms of film and game and shit.
On the other hand, people are going to start to get really bored and fuck their pets. And their food and their appliances.
I feel like this has turned personal.
The pubs, Claire.
Yeah, I mean it's up there, isn't it? It's pretty shit. It's pretty bad. I'd say it's got to go top bill. Can we keep Billie Eilish on there though? Because I feel more passionately.
I wrote her on it in Biro.
Oh, good. Because I feel more passionately about that than I do about Corona. Not gonna lie. Yeah, I'm gonna put it there. Because it's not Billie Eilish's fault. She's just a person.
Okay, so coronavirus, I would like to officially induct you in the Konami section of the Dickhead of the Week.
Oh.
Repent, and thou shalt be saved.
Well, Scott, I hope we answered your questions sufficiently.
It's quite thorough.
I'm done. All I'm doing for the rest of the day is getting smashed and watching AEW.